Hi everybody, and welcome back to my Flosstube. My name is Lindsay Zachman. Today is Saturday, July 24th, 2023, and I'm glad to be back with you today. I wanted to get on here because I do have a lot of finishes and whips that I have been stitching on lately, and I wanted to get on before the beginning of July. So I'm here today and I'm glad to be here with you. If you're new or returning, if you could like and subscribe to our channel. It's usually my daughter Delaney and I. Sometimes it will be Delaney and I, sometimes it will be myself. Just depends on what she has going on with her life and her schedule. So let's get started. I wanted to share some of the questions that have come in recently to our different videos. So last time we shared a video, we asked the question, what was your either favorite quilting or stitching piece that you've ever done or that you're working on? Or in addition to that, what's your favorite summer memories and activities, things of that nature? Like what did your family like to do? So I got several of those comments back that some of them were bike rides, which we love to do bike rides, or a walk in the evening because it's pretty hot during the daytime, obviously. And then traveling, and specifically this person said the northwest of the United States. I have never been over into that range of our country, and my husband, once he retires from the military, we plan and hope to plan to travel in an RV all across the nation. So one day we'll get there. And the other thing was having their grandchildren over. So that's lovely. I wish we had a family closer by. And actually my mom passed in November of 2017 to bile duct cancer. So July would have been her birthday month. And so we will celebrate and honor my mom on her birthday on July 9th. So she's missed terribly. But I wouldn't want her back in this crazy world, not even for my selfish reasons. She is with the Lord, so I know that she waits for me at Heaven's Gate one day. So I will be with her again. Let's see what we've been up to. I'm looking at my notes. Both of my girls went to the church's youth summer camp several weeks ago for about a week and had a wonderful time. And we've got the bedroom situated now. I had mentioned that the middle daughter moved back home and that we were painting bedrooms and kind of who's what in what bedroom, but that has all been sorted out now. So my husband has done a lot of work around the house, painting, cleaning carpets, things of that nature. So I'm very grateful for that too. And we've just been, we do homeschool year round, and so I don't have like a particular set schedule. When we first started homeschooling, I attempted to make a plan for the calendar year, and life happens. And I realized it was pretty pointless to try to make a calendar because I was constantly changing it. So rather than schedule it, I consider us year round, and we take time off when we feel like it, especially in the spring when the weather is beautiful. Or if my husband is going to go on a military trip and we could go as a family possibly, depending on where it is and what he's doing, then that's when we'll take off time, or we'll bring our schoolwork in the camper. So that's a blessing to be able to do that. But on another note, I want to ask if y'all will pray. So the Lord has been stirring my heart about possibly sending our children back into school. We have been homeschooling for 5 years. The middle daughter and I for 5 years, starting in 8th grade. And then my youngest, Delaney, she started the following year that the other one starts. So she's been homeschooling for 4 years. And this has happened before in my life where the Lord has called me to something, and I kind of wrestle with it for a while, trying to decipher if it's my heart's desire or if it's something that he's asking me to do. So I don't take that lightly, because when he called me to homeschool, he made it so clear at the time that was what he wanted. And so I don't want to jump too quickly. I want to listen and discern and pray. And so I won't go into all the details, but right now we are waiting to hear back from a charter school for my middle daughter. And my youngest daughter is trying to take a placement test to get into a different private Christian school. long story on both of them, and I won't go into details, but we're just praying that the Lord would clearly open and shut doors so that if it is not his will, that he would make it evident and that we would have peace to continue on as homeschoolers. I'm fine as either way. So we shall see. Maybe with the next Flosstube, I'll have announcements on which direction we're leading. So that's just our little life update right now. So let's get started with the cross stitch and a little bit of quilting. So I said last time I would share some previous finishes because we're headed into July and many people like to stitch Christmas in July. If you're following along with Fat Quarter Shop Flosstube, it's called Jolly July because of Kimberly Jolly. So let's just jump right in. I do have some previous finishes. Many are unfinished. They're not fully finished, but that's okay. I really love the gingerbread theme for my kitchen in Christmas season. So this is Baking Spirits Bright, and many of these are going to be from Stitching with the Housewives, Chelsea and Priscilla. So I've yet to finish that, as well as this Mrs. Santa. I'm not sure the name of this design, but these are going to be on 14 count black Aida. Mrs. Claus with her merry little aqua blue mason jar. I love that. I love aqua. Teal / aqua is my favorite color. And then Mr. Claus in his jolly mason jar as well. So I need to find some ways to fully finish these so they coordinate. And then there was a gingerbread boy and girl, and I've done the girl. Don't mind the ragged edges, but that's the girl that says sweet. And that is really cute. So those are all on black 14 count Aida, and I'll continue with some fully finishes that I have made in the past. I believe most of these are from last year. So this is actually a fully finished, but this is Holly Jolly. I love this. I fully finished it with sticky board, called for colors of the threads, and it's black 14 count Aida again. And you can either hang it as an ornament, or I could just prop it up and lay it somewhere. So there's that one. And then Merry and Bright, also Stitching with the Housewives. All of these few are. And I also love the buffalo plaid. I think I told you last time I love plaid. All sorts of plaids. And last one finished like that is this gingerbread bakery with Santa and the cute little gingerbread houses and people. So I think that's super cute. Okay, those are that. And then switching themes, this is either Country Cottage or Little House, I'm not sure. But this is Love is in the Air. And I like the snowman and the gingerbread theme for Christmas. And I finished it with some soft minky material into a little pillow. And that was last year. So super cute. Okay, some bigger Christmas finishes that I have finished in the past. Again, we're sticking with a theme here, Stitching with the Housewives. This is her recipe of gingerbread cookies. So cute at Christmas time to have all these in my kitchen. I have this wall of shelves and bookcases that I like to put decor in. So there's this one. And then I've got Jingle Bell Cafe and Bakery. It's really pretty. And this is definitely a favorite of mine because going to church on Christmas Eve and year round is extremely important to us. So I love this piece. Isn't it cute? I love the farm aspect. The font is precious and the church. I love going to church on Christmas Eve and those candlelight services and where we sing Silent Night and all the other traditional Christmas hymns and songs. So those are a few of my previous finishes that I just wanted to show you before we head into the month of July to inspire and encourage you. Let me know if you've stitched any of those pieces yourselves. So I debated showing this one or not because this is something that I started in the beginning of my new to cross stitch journey. And it was a rather large piece to take on at the time, and I still love the pattern. It's Farmhouse Christmas. Let's see, I have it here. That is by Little House Needleworks. I wanted to say that right. So it's a 9-part series. This is what part of the patterns look like. And I wanted to finish it, I hemmed and hawed. Do you finish it on a bunch of little small pieces, or do you want to do it on one big one? And I decided one big one, which someone with having ADHD, I'm going to be honest, it's hard to stay motivated. However, this was also before I decided that I liked the 2 threads over one on Aida cloth. And I also learned that I don't like soft fabric. I think I've gotten a little better with it with the even weave and Lugana now, but in the beginning I did not like it. So I'm going to show you this. It's not finished stitching, and honestly I don't think I can bring myself to complete it because it's so bulky with the amount of threads that I use on this fabric. I do love it, but I'm going to let you see it now instead of keep talking. But this is what I did, and I worked on it for several months. I'm coming a little closer. I still love it, but I just don't want to continue stitching the way that I chose to, and especially this fabric. I just can't bring myself to continue to stitch on it. And see how far I've gotten? It's kind of silly to stop, but I just don't stitch like that anymore, and it doesn't bring me joy. And so honestly, this has been sitting around in storage in my sewing room for about a year now. I know it's kind of silly, but maybe I can make it into something. Maybe y'all will have an idea for me. But my thought is to restitch it all over again, because I want to look at it and say, I love it. I don't want it to say, oh, you kind of pushed through and bleh. If that makes sense. So anyway, I still love it. I don't know what to do with this, but I'm thinking of stitching the whole designs over on 28 count Lugana. Probably light taupe is what I'm considering right now. It would probably be that or mushroom. So that is a piece that I honestly don't know how to feel about. Have you ever started something like that, big or small, and then you just can't bring yourself to finish it? So yeah, that's that story, and that's all I have to say about it. So let's see here. I did have one question come in, and I was stitching the Primrose Cottage Stitches Home of the Brave cross stitch pattern, and someone asked what fabric I was stitching it on, and that was 28 count Lugana mushroom. That's what it was. So going back to the month of May, we did Mania, and I had several new starts, about 6 or 7 Mania starts that were brand new. And I carried most of them over into the month of June. And I'm happy to say I have several finishes. Nothing is fully finished yet on my cross stitching. I have a few that I worked on and have not finished, and that's what I'll start with. So I was doing Stitching with the Housewives July calendar crate, and this is how far I've got. I'm gonna put this away until next year and finish it next year. I do love it very much. But there were other pieces that I wanted to finish first. And that's, I went from in May where I was rotating a day on this and then a day on that, but in June I didn't carry on with that. I stitched several pieces until they were fully finished. So one of those being Home of the Brave, because, I'm sorry, Home of the Free because of the Brave. And this is the one on 28 count Lugana, called 4 colors of threads, and again stitching, no, I'm sorry, Primrose Cottage Stitches pattern. I love the colors of the house. So pretty. So I'm not sure if I'm going to frame that or make it into a pillow. Haven't fully decided. And then this is by Brenda Gervais. I think the pattern booklet is called Red, White, and Bloom. Red, White, and Boom. I could be wrong. I didn't bring it today. But I finished her, and she is adorable. I love that. I talked about the colors that I use. I used all the called for colors except for I lightened up the sunflower colors, and you can find that information on my Lost Flosstube. I'd like to make this into a pillow, and I love her very much, her little dress and her shoes. So one piece that I have been working on last year and never finished it and carried it over into for Mania, and then a little bit of time in June, and I'm happy to say, I think I've got this on my Instagram already, but I'm happy to say that I finally finished this beautiful America the Beautiful by Stitching with the Housewives, and it is on 14 count black Aida, and I used the called for color threads. So right now, I think through today, Michael's is having a 70% off custom framing. I'm considering, if I have time today, because we have plans later, I might go down there and see about having this framed. I have not done that. I've only done framing myself so far. And I've been looking, and it's approximately 8 by 10-ish, so we shall see. Maybe I'll have that next time. I'm not sure if that's going to work out or what, so, but I'm so happy to have that finished. And then this, I'm gonna call it a finish. It's almost finished because I have a few more stitches, and I just wanted to go ahead and get this video filmed. So this is Brenda Gervais, Home Sweet Home. And this is a beautiful piece. So I have some more of the border to finish right down that line, but other than that, it is finished. And if you see the little flag that the birdie is holding, that's my first attempt ever at 1/1 cross stitching, one thread over one little tiny square of the fabric. So it was pretty challenging. It's just okay looking, I think, but overall for my first attempt, I'll take it. So I love that, and I don't know, frame it or pillow it. What do you think? I'm not sure. Okay, so the other finish that I have to show you, I don't know if I think I showed this on Instagram. I don't recall now, but it is a small, I showed it in the last video with Delaney, but it wasn't fully finished yet. I had pieced together the quilt top from Primrose Cottage Stitches. I don't have the pattern with me here to tell you what it's called, but it was one of their Free Friday patterns where you buy the quilt kit ahead of time. And I want to show you, put it in the wrong kind of bag, but this is all the leftover fabric I have. So it's very generous. So you're definitely getting your money's worth. Let's see if I can get this in here. I might have to scooch back a little bit, excuse me. This is my fully finished piece. I think it's gorgeous. I finished it by stitching in the ditch. And if you're not a quilter, that basically means you quilt it by sewing in the lines that are already there. You can see it on the back. That's what I mean. That's how I stitched it. Nothing fancy. I am not an expert. I've yet to tackle, what do you call it? I've yet to tackle free motion quilting on my Juki. That is a one-day thing that I hope to get to, but for now, yeah. And then I enjoy hand stitching binding on, and you can learn about doing that yourself by watching Fat Quarter Shop Flosstubes. They have a series of beginner quilting, and one of the videos has Kimberly pretty up close and personal showing you how she hand stitches it, and I enjoy doing that at nighttime while we're watching television, so a little handiwork. Let's see, yep, I did my previous finishes and whips, and now I'm going to talk to you about some of the stuff that I've gotten in lately. So last month, I think I showed you some fabric from this pattern, this design by Amy Smart, and I showed you these. However, I had an opportunity to buy some more of the fat quarter pieces, fat quarter bundle from Primrose Cottage Stitches shop, and I did that. I love these fabrics. They're so beautiful. It's like a muted pale Patriotic set, and it's gorgeous. Reminds me of the Northeast. Which I was chatting with someone in the comments recently. The fact that I am originally from the state of New York, but I call it upstate New York. My husband says it's not upstate, but I'm from about 2 hours north, not north necessarily, but 2 hours from Buffalo, New York. But anyway, I love these. Very beautiful. And I am going to maybe attempt this Stars and Stripes by Amy Smart. I was able to get this off the internet for free. It's a pattern. Let me take a look at this real quick. You can do that square piece, or there's an optional different lengthwise table runner. So I'm considering, if I have enough fabric, I haven't even looked yet, but I may use this to do that. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. So I'll put that here. I took for the very first time a couple of my quilt books to Office Max and had them rebound into spiral pieces. I did that to this book, the Summer Memories, the spiral bound. It just helps it to lay flatter. And I had a clear protective sheet put on the front and the back. That way, when you're stitching, let's see if there's anything to show without. So if you're stitching, you can either pull it this way or lay it flat and it will stay nicer. So I had to sign a liability form in case they mess it up. And I was like, oh, how good are you at this? But he did great. He did great. So that, and I've been wanting to do that to this book for a very long time. We talked about this in the last Flosstube video, Bonnie and Camille. So now it'll be much easier to lay flat somewhere. So I'm very excited about that. Okay, some patterns that I purchased. So let's see. I received a generous pattern. I'm on several of the D-Stash groups on Facebook, and I found this from someone sharing it. Go ahead, it's the Coast Guard emblem. I'm very excited about this. I have not showed it to my husband. I want to stitch it for him for his office and surprise him, so don't tell him. And when I commented on it, I said that I was going to purchase it because that's how it works. And the very kind-hearted woman, she messaged me and she was asking me, do you know someone who's in the Coast Guard? And I said, yes, ma'am. My husband serves active duty. And she said, I would love to mail you this for free. So she didn't charge me. She was very generous and thoughtful and wanted to pass it along. So thank you to that kind viewer, or not viewer. I found it on Facebook, but I'm very excited to have this. I can see me stitching this for friends and things of that nature. So I was very grateful for that. She didn't have to, but she decided to. Another cool find is, I've shown you in the past, I'm working on This I Know from Plum Street Samplers with the church and the sheep, and it's beautiful. This is the pattern that came out the year before. This is the day, and I love this. I've contemplated just stitching the verbiage, but seeing it stitched out, it's gorgeous. I got this off a D-Stash page, and it's fully kitted up. I said, yes, please. I will hang on to that. So I purchased that for a much future, because it's This I Know is my Sabbath stitching, and that means for Sunday. So I'm trying to keep religious Christian type things for Sundays. Okay, a few more patterns that I picked up along the way. I got this off a D-Stash page. You don't often find many religious Christmas designs, so I wanted to make sure to snatch that right up. This is a series by Stitching with the Housewives called Stitching Seasons. I'm not in the club, however, I have managed to purchase the spring and the summer one off of a D-Stash page, I believe by the same woman. So this will be a future stitch. You can also get that when it releases after the club is finished. And this is beautiful. I have kicked myself for not picking this up the one time I was in a cross-stitch shop near Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We used to live in South Florida when we were stationed there, and then we had a friend who retired last spring, I believe, and the cross-stitching cupboard, I believe is what it was, and I saw this there that year as a new release, and then it's one that I put back because I had a lot that I purchased, and so now I've grabbed it, and I'm so glad because it's beautiful. Nicole Spohr had a stitch along with us recently, but I was busy with other things, but I do want to get to this gorgeous one. Brenda Gervais, With Thy Needle and Thread. I love it. There has been a popular thing where people are buying these little embroidery miniature wooden hoops and stitching something very small and miniature on that. And I was able to find in my local Hobby Lobby both the round and the oval shapes. So I've not yet stitched anything, but my thought is, because I like to keep my floss on the Floss Biddies from Fat Quarter Shop. Let's see if I have them in here. I'm gonna keep my, yes, like this. So I keep my floss on the Floss Biddies. These are the Floss Biddies, and then on a little ring. And my thought is to, because sometimes I I'll pull this out of a project bag because it has a thread color that I need briefly on another project. And I'm worried about confusing which bag it goes back into for which pattern. So I'm thinking of taking one of those little wooden pieces and stitching just a little miniature piece that goes with the pattern for this and putting it on here with my floss, so that if I take my floss set out of my bag, I will easily be able to recognize which pattern and which bag it goes into. So I've yet to do that, but that's my idea for now. Okay, one of the other things that I purchased ahead of time was this limited edition 2023 Liberty box from Fat Quarter Shop. And this is a fun score. So when I first got in, it's probably like 2 years ago now, I joined the Sew Sampler box club. I was part of that for about a year, maybe a little less, and then I canceled it. But this was fun. I wanted to get this. So you had to pre-order it. There's a limited amount. I believe they're sold out now, but I'll just give you a quick peek of what's in here. It's always well designed, very, very appeasing to the eye. Appeasing, no, appealing. Appealing. There are little coupons on the back. I just flashed it, but I don't want to show you the actual coupons. So Sweet Land of Liberty was the theme, and it came with this beautiful set of fabric. Let's see if you can see it. So some cream, more of those red flags, beautiful little flowers. This is hard to show. Verbiage. These are all different names of the states. That's very pretty. I love that. More flags. Some more verbiage on cream, followed by the stripes. So what comes with this is a smaller quilt, a wall hanging quilt pattern to use this bunch of fabric to make. So I do plan on doing that. And so it shows you on the back what it comes with, what you need to order, and this is what you'll get in the end. So I have this from the box, and I've ordered this online, and I also ordered some backing fabric. They were out for a while, but I pushed the notify me button and I was able to get some, so I'm very happy. I'll show you else what's in here. Some coasters, which was a cute little idea. I never would have thought of those being in here. But 2 Patriotic coasters, USA and Land of the Free. So I think I'll get those out and put them in the living room for the month. Put this over here. I think you're gonna have to use this Lori Holt's Cute Cutters. Cute Cuts, yeah, it's a 4-inch square block. So I believe I'll be using that as a way to make the cuts of the fabric. A really cute Lori Holt tape measure. I love it. That's really cute. As well as these Bowen needles that are patriotic themed. So that's cute. You always need needles as a quilter and a sewer. So all that was in that box. So that was really fun. I'm glad I purchased it because it's one of those things that you purchase ahead of time, not knowing for sure what you're gonna get. And I was not disappointed. I was very glad to have that. Okay, so now that's my haul, and I want to talk to you about my plans for July. So I talked about it earlier that some people call it Jolly July. Some people just refer to it as Christmas in July stitching, whatever you want to call it. Honestly, I haven't fully decided. However, I have pulled out some Christmas designs that I have on hand and that I'm considering. I'm going to show you those first, and then I'll tell you the other half of my possible ideas. So I have this cross stitch ornament magazine from last year. Honestly, I don't know that I ever stitched anything out of it, but there are some cute patterns in here. Hold on, let me see if I'll go through and show you the ones that I liked because I folded the corners back, I believe. I can get there. Well, I can do this without showing the actual patterns. Let's see. Okay, there's a couple of religious patterns. The one that's kind of all beige right there, I think I'll change the colors, but Behold the Lamb of God. I really like that. As well as this one right here, One Star, One Child, One Night. I'm always looking for religious Christmas designs, and I have someone in mind to maybe stitch this mermaid for. I'm not gonna say any more because she'll know who she is. Let's see, I don't know. Sorry for the lull. That may be it for now. I'll just leave it at that. So those are two possible Christmas ornament pieces I could do. And in the past, I started stitching some of these. I had planned on doing them one a month this whole year, but let's just be honest, I've done two and then I fell off bandwagon. So I'll show you the two that I've already done. So I could do some more of these, which I really would like to. These are the two that I have finished so far. And I plan to make them into coordinating little pillows for a dough bowl or something like that. I did get this recently off of a D-stash, and this is beautiful by Lizzie Kate. Come Let Us Adore Him. Another religious piece. I bought this, I believe, at market time a couple months ago. Let's see, there we go. Joy and Good Cheer. This is a very pretty Christmas one by Brenda Gervais. She's one of my favorites, and I have it kitted up. So that's probably gonna get worked on for sure. Other things that I have are from Stitching with the Housewives. I've been holding on to this December month to month, and I would like to do that. I don't know if it's a top contender right now. We shall see. And then I have a few Dapper Doodads to show you, going along with my earlier finishes of the gingerbread theme for my kitchen. This is Cookie Delivery Dapper Doodad by Stitching with the Housewives. Some more gingerbreads, as well as Sugar and Spice Cookie Co. And last but not least, Gingerbread Farm. All these are following my gingerbread theme by Stitching with the Housewives. So I do have more Christmas patterns on hand. However, those are the ones that spoke to me right now and I pulled them out. This is my other consideration. Okay, in this bag, I'm going to show you. Within the past year at some point, Fat Quarter Shop ran a sale which included all of the, let's see, Country Cottage Needleworks glitter houses. And Kimberly did a, here, I'll show you one at a time. Kimberly did a stitch along with this a while ago, and she stopped working on it because she wasn't happy, I believe, with the fabric choice, maybe? I don't recall. I really love this pattern. This is kind of similar to the Farmhouse Christmas patterns, where you can either stitch them individually or together, and I really want to do them together, which I get a little nervous because of what happened with my Farmhouse Christmas, but it's not a fabric issue, it's a Lindsay issue. Lindsay has ADHD, and she'll go all in on a pattern for a while, a big one, and then I've poured myself into it so much that I'm like, oh, I can't do it anymore. Is anybody else like that? Plus, there's always beautiful patterns that catch your eyes, and you're like, oh, I have to have that too. But okay, so truth be told, I bought the designs. I did kit it up with the called for colors. Kind of a mess right now. And someone recommended this instead of the gold that was on the pattern. So I'll just let you see that, because apparently stitching with metallic thread is very challenging. I haven't tried it yet. So here's the thing, the fabric choices, because the original one is opalescent, so it has like little flecks of metallic in it, in the fabric itself, so it's got a little shimmer to it, and that's beautiful. But it doesn't come in 28 count or 25 count, which is what I really like. So the closest thing to it was Desert Opalescent 32 count Lugana, and I purchased that, and it is beautiful. It's a huge piece of fabric. This is going to look kind of messy, but can you see? Oops. Can you see the metallic-y opalescentness in the fabric? So this is a really large piece. Like, I've rolled it and I have it clipped together. And I made an initial attempt months and months ago when I got it, and then it went back in the bag because it was very challenging. I used a tension hoop. This is my tension hoop. And I attempted a small start. And this is how far I got. Not very far, because to me, those are teeny tiny. And I found it to be super challenging. So here's the thing. I have considered making this my monogamous stitch piece for Christmas in July, or Jolly July. However, I'm very intimidated. So I think originally it called for this raw silver, and I was like, well, let me just buy it. This is a linen, y'all. I've not stitched on a linen before. This is what I have, but I ended up trying what I showed you, the 32 count Lugana. I hope I'm not confusing you all rambling on about this, but anyway, it's very intimidating. I want to stitch it. What I may just try, because I hear people say you will adjust to the stitch count if you just keep trying and practice. You know, practice makes better. I don't say perfect, practice makes better. So I could either try to continue going on this 32 count Lugana that's challenging, but at the same time, the reason why I stitch is because it's very therapeutic. I don't want it to be a challenge. I like learning new things, don't get me wrong, and challenging myself, but most often I don't want to be frustrated, because then if I get frustrated, I'll put it down and walk away, just like that huge Farmhouse Christmas. So that's the deal. I'm either going to try it on this 32 count for a while and see how it goes, and if it doesn't work out and I get really frustrated, I'm going to stitch it on 28 count light taupe Lugana. So I can't tell you my exact plans. It's going to be, let's play with this for a while and see how it goes, and we'll go from there, because that's all I've got. And I've also got these super cute Christmas patterns that I pulled out already. So I'm just gonna be very open with you that I don't have a definitive plan, because Lindsay's mind changes often. So that's what it is, and that's okay. So anyway, I wanted to also just give a shout out to some of the Flosstubers that I've been enjoying over this past couple of years. So in no particular order, Annie the Proper Stitcher, I enjoy watching her. She's very inspiring and encouraging. I have a friend whose new Flosstube is called The Quilted Story. We used to both be machine embroidery test designers. There were several others of us, of course, with the Itch to Stitch machine applique and embroidery company. They are no longer in business, but for a while I had the blessing of test stitching with this woman. So check her out. YouTube channel, I'm sorry, I'm all over my words, The Quilted Story. And she has an Etsy shop where she's selling some very fun cross-stitching things. New to me and fairly new on YouTube is called the letter B, the letter A, Be a Blessing Stitcher. She's got some great things, super sweet lady, and another military, I think she herself is in the military actually. So another military stitcher is called K, the letter K, Threads and Stitches. So if y'all will, hold on, I'm about to sneeze. Ooh, excuse me. If y'all will check them out and tell them I said to go their way and check them out. I think that's all I've got for today. Let me just double check. Yep, that's all for today. I am gonna run. We've got some family parties and things to attend to today. So I hope you guys have a fabulous rest of June. I'm going to get my Home Sweet Home finished up in the very near future. I will finish the border that runs just down here a little bit. I may or may not get that America the Beautiful to the Michael's framing sale in time. I'm not sure, but I would like to know what your plans for July are. Do you stitch Christmas in July, or do you stitch something else? Tell me what your plans are, okay? I can't thank y'all enough for welcoming us into this cross-stitching community and having fun with Delaney and I. Like I said, she's not here, but she wishes you all well, and so do I. Thank you for the kind and wonderful comments. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel. We find much joy in being here, and the stitching is, like I said, therapy. We love it, and we hope you have a great day. God bless. Goodbye.